Yo, it's Juice. This is the first in the fitness video series that I'm going to be sending out on Friday, every Friday. Just got back from the gym, and this is kind of what the physique looks like. I've been working out for, let's say, 6 years in the gym. But I started off as a swimmer, so I've been swimming since before I can even remember, probably around 3 or 4 when I was first learning how to swim, and then I swam competitively throughout elementary, middle, high school, kind of tapered off, but hopped back in the saddle for college, finished out my collegiate D3 swimming career, and then really started hitting the gym hard for the last year and a half. So yeah, I feel like this is kind of a good starting point. Just talking a little bit about my philosophy with training. I tend not to go crazy with isolation exercises. I'm a big proponent of focusing on compound movements. Let those compounds do a lot of the heavy lifting, and then touching up where I need to in the isolation areas. So that's, I think, for the first 4 years when I was lifting, as I was swimming and lifting during the season in a limited capacity, and then amping it up more in the off season. That's really what I focused on, was just being as well rounded as possible, kind of trying to have a good balance of strength, muscle size, while also trying not to get too heavy. But I think that's probably the area that I failed in, because I came in my freshman year like 180 pounds and finished the season at about 190. So you get the freshman 10, and then sophomore year was COVID, so I was back at home, and there was just limited access to pools. So I spent a lot of time in the gym, and I ballooned up to like 210. So I came back my junior year and I was 210, and I just couldn't swim distance. Like, it was just, I was swimming in the girls' lane, they were lapping me. We all had a good laugh about it, but it was like my body just could not handle distance swimming, and I sunk because I was so heavy and gassing out so quick. So transitioned to more sprinting stuff, and with that transition, I kind of afforded me a little bit more flexibility to kind of go crazy, go nuts in the weight room, because I didn't really have to worry about getting too heavy. So by the end of my junior year, I was 220. Into senior year, stayed pretty much around 220, and then first year after graduating, gained some weight, went up to 235, and now I'm kind of hovering back around 215, 220. Which I think is a good set point. So my goals now is just to really lose some body fat, because I feel like after swimming, I've kind of relaxed a lot in the cardio sense. So kind of getting back, hopping back in the saddle, incorporating more running into my exercise philosophy regimen. Because I think another thing that happens when you gain weight kind of quickly is that your joints kind of take a beating whenever you do high impact cardio. So, running or jumping rope. Trying to think of some other examples, but I just couldn't sustainably run. And so, like, I've always been relatively explosive, and I tried to be, develop in an athletic direction, but I really felt it whenever I would do land sports. I just felt limited by my structure as opposed to my engine. So I always felt like I could give more, but I was kind of restrained by my joints. So that realization really hit, I'd say, my senior year. And after graduating, I kind of took a step back and thought about how I could revamp my regiment, my program, my training protocol, and that's still in the works. So once I fully flesh everything out and make it really nice and presentable, I'll upload a video kind of walking you guys through what my tenets of exercise are and how my approach to developing in a balanced manner. But that aside, now my routine is pretty much every other day. Well, I wake up at 4:45 in the morning every day. But every other day I'll do a run in the morning for 30 minutes. So that's usually about 2 miles. And sometimes it's straight, sometimes it's broken, just kind of depends on how I'm feeling. But the goal really is just to get some adaptation going and just get more comfortable with running in and of itself. And also it's cool out, so I just kind of like that environment for running. So every other day I go on my morning runs. On the days that it's, the off day, I still go out. I just do a lot of walking. I'll do some skipping. I'll do backwards walking for the same 30 minutes, and then kind of call it a day. And then after that, I get back. I'll do my, morning routine, orienting the day, going over, my goals and objectives for the day, things I want to accomplish, relationships that I want to strengthen, reinforcing in my mind some of those long-term goals, and then get to work, finish work by probably, depends, but I try to be at the gym by like 4 p.m. So working, get to the gym. I kind of run a hybrid push-pull legs. So what I try to do is push Monday, push, but I supplement everything I do in the weight room in push with body weight pull exercises. So I'll do like a lot of pull-ups or body weight rows on a barbell, those kinds of things. And then I'll hit legs, pretty self-explanatory. Not too many ways to skin that cat. Hit my legs Tuesday, then Wednesday will be pull, and I'll do all the conventional pulling gym exercises, so barbell rows, pull-ups, weighted pull-ups, lat pull-downs, reverse grip lat pull-downs, bicep curls, cable rows, all those kinds of things, landmine rows, and I'll just kind of superset every 2 exercise groups or exercise circuits. I'll superset that with some body weight pushing exercises. So that's going to be dips, some push-ups, and I'm trying to work towards handstand push-ups, but that's a work in progress. So we're not there yet. And then Thursday is legs again, and then I just repeat that. So in totality for the week, it goes push, legs, pull, push, legs, pull. So I'm hitting strictly push 2 days a week, strictly pull 2 days a week, legs 3 days a week. And then I kind of supplement as I want. Kind of, whatever based on what I'm feeling. So if I'm feeling that I really want to focus on a specific muscle group, so for these next 3 months, I really want to focus on shoulders, biceps, triceps. On those days where, if it's a push day, I'll throw in some extra bicep curls or do chin-ups. If it's a pull day, I'll throw in some weighted dips or, isolation tricep extensions in various orientations to kind of hit the muscle at different angles and kind of force that adaptation. After that, I try to hit abs after every workout. Sometimes I'm lazy and I forget, but pretty consistently I can say 5 to 6 days a week I hit abs after weights, and it's usually 15-20 minutes of that, and then right after I go into another 30 minutes of cardio. And I know you can't spot reduce fat, but in my mind, I don't really believe anything until I've tried it out for myself. So on my push days, I do this kind of modified recumbent bicycle machine. So if you think of like a traditional recumbent bike, you've got the legs pedaling and you've also got the arms pedaling at the same time. At my gym, it's just the arms, so you're just kind of spinning. I'd imagine boxers or maybe rowers or climbers probably use that machine a lot, or people that are going through physical therapy to kind of rehab rotator cuff stuff. I think that's what it's geared towards, but it does have fairly good resistance settings. So I use that. I'll spin on that for 30 minutes, and I aim for constant work. So I'm looking at 100 to 150 watts over the course of that 30 minutes. And I found that I don't know if I'm just imbalanced, but it's a lot harder for me to output 100, 150 watts on that upper body spin machine than, a traditional stationary bike. Like I can on a stationary bike on my leg days, I can go 180 to 200 watts consistently for the whole 30 minutes, but I guess I have a little bit of an imbalance there. So, so that kind of segues into the cardio that I do on leg days. On leg days, I'll hit the bike 30 minutes. Sometimes it's constant work, so I'll just kind of pick a wattage, which is power, I guess. Watts are units of power, but I wonder why the terminologies work. But whatever, I'm putting out 180 watts consistently over the 30 minutes, and then because I just feel like it's less strenuous on my knees and my joints. So everything's about, or at least with me, everything's about kind of making sure you can sustainably and consistently work hard and work in this regards. Work that endurance system. And then pull days, I do ergometer, so I'll do 30 minutes of seated rowing. Settings wise, it could be anywhere from 4 to 7. I think I'm not a rower, so I don't really know, don't take my word as gospel for what these settings are, but I think 5 to 7 is supposed to be like the area that is most similar to the resistance of water, if that makes sense. So like if you're 7, being if you're rowing against the current, and then 5 being, I guess, with the current. That's what I think, but I'll have to double check on that. So yeah, so I'll put the setting anywhere between 4 and 7, and I'll just go. And I try to make sure that my pace is for sure under 500 meters for every 2 minutes and 10 seconds. But my sweet spot I like to be is 1:50 to 2:05, 2 minutes and 5 seconds over the course of that 30 minutes. So like the average, I'm trying to shoot in between those bounds, and I find that I can burn. I don't know how accurate the estimates that the ergometer gives you, but it tells me that I can pretty reliably burn 430 calories in 30 minutes, which is probably an overestimation. And I guess in terms, I don't know what my wattages are for that guy, so I have to pay more attention to that. But that's kind of just in general what I do for exercise. I know one glaring component that I'm missing is flexibility and mobility training, and I'm cognizant of that, and I'm working on working that into my regime. I think one of the confounding things, or it's not necessarily confounding, but it's an obstacle, is that I'm already spending 2 hours and 30 minutes out of my day exercising, right? 30 minutes in the morning, 2 hours at the gym, an hour 30 of weights, or an hour 15 of weights, 15 to 20 minutes of abs, and then another 30 minutes of cardio. All that stuff adds up. So I feel like I'm spending a lot of time maybe I can just optimize it and cut some filler out and reorganize stuff so that I can also fit in everything that I want to kind of hit my targets in the areas that I care about. And I think through this process, I've really learned that you can't, I shouldn't say you can't, but progress when you're trying to build yourself in all dimensions is going to be a lot slower than if you focus on, 2 or 3 things that you really want to put priority on and just, balls to the wall, go for it. So juggling how I kind of establish the hierarchy of things that I want to work on and what I'm willing to sacrifice what I'm willing to sacrifice and not sacrifice in order to get there, I think is the fun part of playing around with exercise and programming and the whole kind of philosophy of training. Yeah, and I think diet also comes into this, obviously, right? And I'm not the best person to be talking about diet. I have never really been a diet conscious person. When I was in school as a swimmer, as a kid, I didn't really eat that much. I'd say until my brother was the one who ate a whole lot, and I did not eat a lot. So I can recall in middle school, I was eating maybe 2 meals a day. Usually I'd skip breakfast, so I'd have lunch and dinner every day, and not crazy portions either. But then got into high school, started eating a little bit more, but still 1 to 2 meals a day. And then went to college, and it's you go to the dining hall and you can get as unlimited portions of as much as you want. And I'm walking in there, $1.80, and I'm seeing all these jacked guys, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna eat as much as I can. And since I'm already training 2 hours a day, and then maybe having a lift for an hour, my philosophy was I'm just gonna work the calories off. So that probably explains my balloon in weight after those first 2 years. But now I've kind of rediscovered the importance of moderating appetite, because I can go for in my 1 meal a day, I can go for 3 to 4 servings of a plate loaded up with carbs and protein, and some veggies. But that's kind of the thing that I'm running into. It's my appetite is so high because I'm doing a lot of work in the gym and doing cardio and just burning. And so I get back and I have my 1 meal, and it's I just eat everything. People call my nickname is the finisher. People call me the finisher because if there's stuff in the fridge and it hasn't been eaten after that dinner session, it's gone the next day. So working on being more disciplined in eating habits and in what I eat. I'd say health-wise, I'm pretty good about eating healthy stuff. I'd say maybe 10 to 15% of the stuff that I eat is not healthy, and even that stuff is not the worst of the worst. Maybe I'll have Ritz crackers or goldfish, but I don't drink soda. I don't not a huge alcohol person. I guess in social settings, yeah, I drink, but I'm not getting a nightcap every night and drinking when I wake up or during the day. So, or even on weekends. I'm not a consumer like that. So that's not really an area that I've had to be mindful of consciously. But yeah, so this 3 months, I've decided that I really want to work on my shoulders. So getting the shoulders bigger, getting the arms bigger, biceps, triceps, shoulders, and leaning out a little bit. I think I'm gonna get that body fat down to, I don't know what I'm at, but no lower. I'm probably no lower than like 15%. So if I can hit a sweet spot of like 11 to 13, 11 to 12%, I'd be happy. At the end of maybe 3 months is a little extreme if I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of diet, caloric restriction. But I'd say by February I should be in that sweet zone if everything goes right. So that's those are my goals. I want to be able to consistently, also by that time I want to be able to consistently run 2 miles every day in the morning. So instead of going every other, I want to be able to do my runs every day of the week, 7 days a week, and still, not be so destroyed that I can't go to the gym on leg day and, do my 10 by 10 squats or, my 5 by 10 Bulgarians. So preserving endurance and trying to mitigate as much as possible the fatigue that may hinder my ability to push in the gym and progress in the gym. So that's kind of the state of affairs. This is a cool little first video. Didn't really think about the formatting of how I wanted to structure this video. I've kind of just taken the approach of, because I tend to be an overthinker, I've taken the approach of, all right, I'm going to be posting daily. I know generally what I want to post about, and I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to think too much about it, and the process will kind of refine itself over time. So I appreciate you all for bearing with me and tolerating the tangents and the rambling. So I'm looking forward to talking with you guys next week. Goal for next week, I'm going to have my training protocol philosophy ironed out, and I'm going to just present that to you guys. And I think that will be a good exercise, both in disseminating information and also in helping me distill a lot of the stuff that's kind of floating around in my mind that I haven't really put down to pen and paper or, in a Google document or something like that. So it'll be a good exercise for me. Look forward to that next week. Appreciate you all. You all, there's nobody subscribed to this channel. Appreciate you, Juice. I appreciate life. But yeah, talking too long. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.